Hello everyone, this is Critic giving you a shoutcast and a 2v2 matchup between teams mousesports and clan root here on Arid Waste. We have Mouse Strelok spawning as the light blue or teal Terran player. Meanwhile, we have Mouse Morrow spawning here as the red Zerg versus QXC spawning as the purple Terran and Slush spawning as the blue Zerg. So Terran Zerg versus Terran Zerg, a mirror match here on Arid Waste. We've seen a lot of 2v2 games go down so far, and I'm interested to see how these players will play out this particular match. I am trying to leave the production tab up a little bit longer this game, but with 4 players, the production tab is just so large that sometimes it goes out to this far and I lose like 70 or 25% of my real estate to a production tab and I'm forced to close it. So Mouse Strelok now setting up a supply depot on the front door. Same thing with QXC getting a supply depot as well. Now a drone will be making its way out and doing some scouting in order to see what exactly will be happening so far this game. I don't see any cheese or any harassment so far, but we now see Mouse Strelok opening up with a refinery first. So refinery first normally indicates to me that he will be going for faster Hellions. Faster Hellions or faster Banshees. He will be able to get that barracks up in just a little bit of time. There we go. Getting a 12 racks, a little bit of a delayed 12 racks there. And now continuing to just get more and more gas out of this one particular refinery. Currently seen on 3 harvesters there, and will be able to get a very strong gas and tech advantage up. We now see spawning pools being placed down by both players, and now Morrow getting up an extractor as well. Yeah. Of course I have to sneeze. Anyways, back over here, we now see QXC wandering around on the inside of this one base, and he sees that the refinery is already up. The refinery is already down over here as well, but I wonder if he knows that the refinery was placed down much earlier. So Strelok will be able to set up a factory right as this barracks is completed, but instead opting to go for an orbital command center first, and perhaps hiding the factory out of sight. Now getting up to a large amount of minerals, and now there's that factory. Oh, completing in the wall in, so nicely done. That SCV is stuck on the wrong side of the supply depot. The one Marine will be popping out in just a moment, and now going for that reactor. Yes, this is going to be a very Hellions-centered army. We now see a drone just wandering around over here. We do see a factory coming into play. No, the reactor is going to be a little bit later coming in from QXC, so QXC is not going to be able to get nearly as many, or those Hellions will be a little bit delayed. But as long as they're trying to play a defensive game, those Hellions should be able to fend off a decent number of attacks, just because Strelok needs to be more aggressive, and the traveling time between the bases will allow for QXC to get those Hellions trained up pretty easily. So expect the factory to be lifted off in just a moment, and then flying towards this one reactor over here. The barracks should lift off in just a second. Will the drone try to exit out of here when that barracks gets lifted off? Oh, right now just a drone just still wandering around here, and now QXC making sure that the drone gets stuck, and then, oh, getting the kill there. So QXC did end up getting his Hellion a little bit more delayed by ensuring that that drone does get taken down. And now we see a tech into a starport. We should also be getting a refinery, unless the starport is only for a medevac. Medevac will be able to do a drop of 4 Hellions pretty effectively and get a lot of damage dealt. Another reactor coming into play in addition to another factory, so he may be going for I can't imagine him actually going for quadruple Hellions at the same time, as we now have a fight on the front door. Zerglings and Hellions both in position, so it's going to be a Zergling Hellion match versus a Zergling Hellion match. Army sizes should be pretty even. Yeah, not too much of a difference. QXC should be getting 2 additional Hellions off of this one, and then the numbers should become even once again. So now moving back over here, and now already getting that tech lab, so we may get Banshees coming out in just a moment. Zerglings now running out that ramp, and there are Banelings here, so those Banelings are trying to be hatched. Morrow and Morrow and Strelok now just continue to push out with those Zerglings and Hellions on the move, trying to get as much damage as possible. 4 Hellions versus 2 with a lot of Zerglings, and now 4 more Hellions coming back online as those units once again come back in, and now 1 poor Zerglings surrounded by another sea of Zerglings once again. Zerglings now trying to move out. 1 Baneling over there will get some damage off, and those Banelings want to deal damage towards those Hellions in particular, as Hellions are also light units. So Hellions, both sides getting a lot of damage out there, and now in comes some manual detonations on those Banelings. Banelings trying to get some damage onto those other Hellions, and now Hellions trying to splash them even further, as now only 2 Banelings left. Oh, able to finish that off over there. And now Hellions and Zerglings, once again, massive fight on the ground. A lot of Hellions trying to get more damage in, trying to get more torching in, and more Hellions have been finished off. but with one Banshee in the air, I believe Mouse Strelok will be forced to pull back as there's nothing to counter those these ground units. Nothing on the ground that can counter those air units, but Strelok has such a large number of Hellions that it may not matter, as these Hellions are going to simply just barrel on their way through. There is another hatchery over here. Zergling's now trying to come in, trying to fend off this attack as well, as those Hellions just push into this location here. We should be getting the Banshee coming online as a lot of damage is being dealt. There's that one Banshee. Banshee now trying to rack up the kills, but needs to go after some of those lower hit point Hellions. There's a lot of Hellions here. Mass Hellions, 9 Hellions now moving around. A lot of drones taking damage as well. The Banshee's just cleaning up many of those, but Strelok doing a great job with those Hellions cleaning up the drones of Slush. Slush now just in trouble as well. We now see, oh, I believe that was a Roach Warren that was cancelled and now needs to mine out more minerals. So Slush is in a little bit in a world of hurt as more Hellions once again on the move, and now more Hellions just trying to get more splash damage and needs to be careful with these Hellions. The Hellions were actually lined up in a really, really bad position, but now that QXC has some Banshees, those Banshees are going to be able to get a lot of damage out very, very easily. 2 Banshees in the air, perhaps trying to deal some damage, but now there are a couple Marines, and now Vikings should be trained up in just a moment off of here. We also see some missile turrets now being laid down, but will it be enough? As those Hellions are now trying to get some damage onto those units over here. Banshees quickly coming in, going after the Queen, now going after those Baneling Concludes as they're currently being hatched. Queen now coming back in. Once again, more Hellions coming as well. One Queen quickly getting taken down. Spinecrawler will be able to complete over there. And oh, nice move by Morrow. Morrow now getting a Baneling right there, getting some more damage across as these two Banshees from QXC now going to start racking up the kills against Morrow. Morrow now losing a lot of the drones. So both players apparently like to rush the Zerg. And now we see Morrow losing many of his drones in the process. So a lot of drones have been taken down. One Hellion over here by QXC will get cleaned up by many of those Zerglings. Trying to micro back all over the place across multiple bases. And now in comes a Viking from Strelok. Strelok should be able to get that Viking, get some kills off onto those Banshees. Banshees need to get the heck out of dodge. A lot of damage has already been dealt. Another Queen now coming in, and now the damage is starting to rack up. Now trying to go after, no, will not be able to get any real damage once again. The Viking does have the same movement speed as a Banshee, I believe. Yeah, the same movement speed. So those Banshees now quickly trying to retreat back over to the main base of Slush, perhaps trying to get under the cover of some Queens. And now the one Viking going after an Overlord instead. That Overlord will get taken down, but the Banshees have been saved. Production-wise, Infernal Pre-Igniter now being researched by the factory with that tech lab over here, so more damage will be dealt with those Hellions. A lot of Hellion damage on the move. Another Viking may be able to get some more kills once again, and oh, quickly Cummins with a cloak. So the cloak is now down. Overseer now being trained, and now 2 Vikings quickly trying to finish off the rest of those Banshees. It looks as though the Banshees will be able to finish off that Queen though, so another Queen now taken down. The Overseer should be moving along its way over here. In comes another scanner sweep, finishing off the rest of those Banshees. So Banshees are now taken down. Zerglings, however, from Slush, retreating back home to try to protect its base. There are a lot of Zerglings and Hellions over here. So an army of Hellions. So mass Hellions coming in. 10 Hellions. Once again, coming back into this position over here. There is one Spinecrawler and just so much splash damage with those Hellions. Zerglings getting toasted. More Zerglings getting toasted once again. And now we really need those Banshees to come back in. More Hellions perhaps going to try to come back in. And I believe, no, Infernal Pre-Igniter has not yet been completed. So these Hellions are going to get a lot of drone kills. And now the Hellions trying to come in, trying to get a lot of damage across multiple Hellions. Once again, good space out by QXC. And now in comes another Banshee. The Banshee should be able to get some kills as well. And now both sides are hurting. Taking a look at the economy, only the Terran players have any decent economy. The Zerg players are all relatively low. And now these Hellions will be able to come back and fight another day. Zerglings now, or Hellions now coming in. The Hellions do have the Infernal Pre-Igniter research, so they do deal extra damage. So more Hellions now coming in, and now we are currently sitting on 5 Hellions, but the Banshee in the air should be able to get even more kills, perhaps trying to get some more Hellion kills. And now the Banshee now trying to chase after those units. Hellions move very, very quickly, and now driving back home. Another Banshee coming in over here. QXC should be able to cloak that Banshee without any real issue. No, not enough energy. Overseer already on the way as well. Banshee does realize that its days are numbered, and down it goes. Another fresh Banshee coming in from QXC though. QXC needs to cloak this Banshee. Oh, quickly going into the ground mode. So those Mouse Strelok was in, almost took some damage there, as now we have some Hellions coming in. So those Hellions may be able to get some damage. Vikings now trying to finish off those ground units, and now the Banshee should be able to get some kills onto those Vikings, or sorry, onto those Vikings as they're in that ground mode. Hellions now trying to deal some damage, and now in comes some more Hellions as well. So Strelok countering Banshees or Hellions with Hellions as more Hellions coming back in. So we have blue Hellions and purple Hellions fighting each other. In comes another cloak, but the Overseer does spot it. Down goes that Banshee should get taken down. Down it goes. And now Strelok trying to use the rest of these Hellions, able to clean up the fight over here as more Zerglings and Zerglings trying to chase down that group of Hellions. Hellion was surrounded, and now more Hellions coming in. So Hellions, Banelings, and Banshees against Vikings. Vikings, Hellions, and Zerglings. So both sides trying to deal more damage to the other side first. 32 Harvesters for QXC, and that's the real advantage right now that Root has at this stage in the game. Banshee is in the air by QXC. QXC should be able to get some quick kills onto some of those Hellions, and now trying to get some kills onto those Hellions. Queen now coming in as well. The Queen does not take any additional damage, and now that, hold on, the Banshee now trying to get more kills as well. The Queen may get taken down. Currently supply locked at 26/12. Needs to get a cloak in. No cloak coming in from QXC. Down it goes, as more blue Hellions, or blue flame Hellions, now appearing to join in on the fight. So both sides using very, very fast moving units, and then Banshees and Vikings to get where they need to get going. Those Vikings don't stand a chance if they even tried to land. And now we see more Hellions coming back over here, perhaps to try to guard this choke point. A scanner sweep pretty much reveals not too much at all, as those Hellions are going to try to walk up that ramp. A Baneling, getting a very, very nice amount of splash damage there. Vikings now trying to land. Vikings, however, going to have to fight against a swarm of Zerglings, as those Zerglings are going to be able to surround and take down many of those units. Morrow now going to lose his Queen. So production is now going to be hit pretty hard as well, as these Zerglings now running rampant through the base. Many of Morrow's drones have been taken down, and I believe Morrow will lose his base here in just a moment. Hellions trying to clean up the rest of these buildings as well. Zerglings will be able to finish off this layer. Down it goes. Couple of Broodlings coming out, but the Hellions should be able to make short work of them. And now, once again on the move, not even bothering with these larvae. The larvae do have 10 armor, but nothing that Infernal Pre-Igniters don't help, or Hellions are able to take down many of those larvae and ensure that no drones will be trained. Back over here, Morrow leaving one Zergling, so to make sure that any drones that pop out are not going to be able to do anything at all. And now we have more Hellions and Zerglings trying to be massed up. There are a lot of buildings here to prevent any units from being able to walk out. Double Hellions being trained off of 4 Hellions being trained at the same time off of 2 factories with reactors. So this is a lot of just very, very anti-light damage. We now see Strelok trying to set up an expansion. He will be lifting off in just a moment. And now those Hellions getting off a lot of splash damage. Those Hellions now trying to do a little bit of a flank here, and now getting a lot of damage dealt, but the Zerglings were able to clean up many of those Hellions. Now trying to clean up even further. Army-wise, you can still see that QXC still has the larger army sitting at 850, but more Hellions are still constantly being trained by Strelok. Strelok is, however, now running low on mineral patches. He's currently only mining from 1 mineral patch, now trying to move out with this expansion to this north location over here and try to mine more minerals. You can see that QXC already has his expansion set up, and now transferring some SCVs over as well, and the critical mining time may be enough, and yeah, that is it. Mouse says GG. So Root, Slush, and QXC doing a great job here on Arid Waste. Both players opening up with similar strategies, but QXC opting to go for Banshees, and by teching into Banshees, it forced Strelok into trying to train up some Vikings. Those Vikings did do a good job in countering the Banshees, but then once QXC just transitioned back into full Hellions once again, especially those the Infernal Pre-Igniter research, really Strelok didn't stand a chance. The additional plus 10 damage on Hellion versus Hellions and versus Zerglings was too much. I believe that's like a 70 or 60% increase in damage, 70% increase in damage for those units, and that really took its toll on Mouse's units. Just over time, the numbers just became too much, and there wasn't much that Team mousesports could really do. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 matchup here on Arid Waste, of a lot of just quick battles, but there was no cheese here whatsoever, just very, very straight up play. Both teams coming out with the same strategy, just slightly executed better by Root. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this here on Arid Waste.